Our Across the Aisle segment tonight, former National Security Advisor General Michael Flynn was set to be sentenced on Tuesday by a federal judge. But the judge delayed the sentencing for several months upon request from Flynn so that Flynn can continue to cooperate in federal investigations. Remember, Flynn pled guilty to a single count of lying to FBI agents during a January 2017 interview. And in the aftermath, the FBI has been accused of misconduct towards Flynn. And this is a separate thing from whether or not Flynn lied, which it appears he did. That does not excuse misconduct by the FBI. So the question is, why was there such a double standard in the way Flynn was treated versus how Hillary Clinton and her team were treated? And how can anybody claim equal treatment under the law when you compare these two scenarios? With me now, Democratic strategist Jason Nichols. Jason, good to see you. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you.
All right, Jason, let me ask you. I do think that, and this is a mistake I think a lot of people on both the right and the left are making, conflating lying to the FBI with misconduct by the FBI. Both can be true. General Flynn, I think, very clearly did not tell the FBI the truth. That's one thing. I also think the FBI behaved in a way that was perhaps unfair and perhaps unethical and certainly in violation of their standard protocol. Would you agree?
I really wouldn't agree, and the reason being because Michael Flynn is not your everyday American. He is someone who spent his life in intelligence. He knows very full well that you cannot lie to the FBI. He's a guy who spent his entire adult life in intelligence. He's a 3-star general. He's got a spectacular military record. This is a guy that knows better, and he admitted that he knew that he couldn't lie to the FBI, and he did it anyway.
Yeah, we agree on that part. That's the part that I'm saying is conflated with FBI misconduct. I agree actually with every single thing you just said. I don't know if that's ever happened before. I don't disagree with that. That's correct. But even accepting the premise of that, does that make it right? The fact that Flynn should have known better and he shouldn't have lied and all that jazz, does that make it right for the FBI to violate their standard procedure in order to sort of trick him into that situation because they had a reason that they wanted him to lie?
See, I disagree that he was tricked. You can't trick someone like Michael Flynn into lying. Like, he went in there and he continued with the lie after he had counsel present. So that's the thing that I think a lot of people are leaving out, is that he continued with that even when he did have counsel present. So, I'm sorry, I can't shed any tears for Michael Flynn.
That's not what I'm asking, though. I'm asking about the FBI, because I actually think this should be a bipartisan issue. I think whether you're a Democrat, whether you're a Republican, we don't want our top law enforcement agency to be violating their protocol. We want them to be held accountable, because we've seen in the history of our nation when top law enforcement agencies have weaponized themselves, and they've become a real threat to people's individual rights.
Agreed.
We want to hold them accountable. We do not want that to happen, regardless of how we feel about the subject of their investigation. So when we have former FBI Director James Comey bragging that he could not have sent 2 FBI agents to the White House to interview Flynn if it had been an administration other than the Trump administration, when he said, yeah, we knew that wasn't standard protocol, but we were happy to get away with it. Do you think that's a fair way to treat someone? Is that an attitude that we want from the FBI, to try to get away with as much as possible?
Well, I think we certainly have seen an erosion of norms from the FBI that hopefully will be fixed. I do think, the president isn't helping the situation. Everybody tweeting and saying what they want about the FBI right now is not helping the situation. But what I will say is that we do need to get back to certain norms. I don't think Michael Flynn was treated unfairly. I think he was treated absolutely fairly, because he is not an average person. He knows full well.
But are laws different? Are laws different for average people than they are for people in high places?
No,
because it was my understanding that our justice system treats people equally.
He's not being trapped. He wasn't trapped. And I think that there is a difference when you go in to someone who spent their life in intelligence, was head of the DIA, who knows full well that you cannot lie. and he went in there and lied.
I agree with that. I agree that he should have known better. However, I mean, you can't tell me that you wouldn't have cried foul if we found out later that this same FBI agent, by the way, that interviewed Michael Flynn was the one who interviewed Hillary Clinton. You can't tell me that you wouldn't have cried foul if you found out later that during her interview, the FBI recommended to her that she not have counsel present. You would have been like, wait a second, that's not setting herself up for success. That's not giving her the tools that she needs to defend herself. You would have cried foul on that.
I disagree. If Hillary Clinton had lied to the FBI, I would be right there with you on One America saying,
what about if one of Hillary Clinton's cronies? What about if one of her staff or associates had lied? Would you cry foul?
Well, say again?
I said, what if one of Hillary's associates had lied to the FBI? Would you cry foul then?
Well, Hillary, I think, has a certain experience who knows not to lie to the FBI. What crony, I'm not sure who you're talking about.
FBI agent. So the witness has not been named. The witness has not been named, but FBI agents sent text messages to each other during this investigation saying they knew for a fact that one of the witnesses in the Hillary Clinton investigation had lied to them. But there was never any discussion of bringing charges against this person. Now, I'm not saying that they should have brought charges against them or not, whether it was pivotal to their investigation or not. My point is they were very quick and very serious about bringing charges against General Flynn for telling a lie, yet they dismissed it when someone part of the Hillary Clinton investigation told a federal investigator a lie. That seems to me that that's not equal justice under the law. Did he tell the
same lie several times, the way Michael Flynn did?
He's charged with one count of lying to federal investigators.
You yourself admit, sorry, I couldn't hear you, but you yourself admitted that Michael Flynn should have known better. You admitted that Michael Flynn, is guilty of this crime probably. And so, I mean, I think we agree pretty much that, I'm not even sure what we're debating. Like, we're
talking about the FBI encouraging Michael Flynn not to have counsel, going to the White House for this impromptu visit, not warning him that it was a lie or that it was a crime to tell a lie. We're talking about not confronting him directly about the transcripts that they had. Remember, they wiretapped. The FBI had wiretapped the Russian ambassador, which they're allowed to do. He's a foreign national. And usually, standard protocol is American citizens' names are masked in those conversations because the government's not allowed to spy and wiretap on a private citizen. The Obama administration had unmasked General Flynn's name. Therefore, these agents that interviewed him knew that it was him in these transcripts. They didn't come to him and say, listen, sir, we have this information. It's very troubling to us, and we'd like you to explain it. They did not tell him. Their purpose was not to find the truth, to figure out if there was Russian collusion, which apparently, supposedly, it was supposed to be the point of their investigation. They didn't care about Russian collusion. They were just trying to get him to tell a lie. That's really shady.
See, well, again, let me be clear. I never, as someone who is a student of history, a student of African-American history, I never want to defend the FBI. So let me put that out there. The FBI has done shady things. You making it seem like this is the first time the FBI.
No, I actually said it wasn't. I said the history of law enforcement agencies in our nation. We know we need to hold them accountable because they abuse their power when we give it to them. I said it 3 minutes ago.
Yeah, well, what I would say about General Flynn is all of that aside, he is not your average citizen. He knows doggone well you don't lie to the FBI. And so I really, like, we both agree, I don't feel sorry for him. I don't think this is, an erosion of norms in his particular case because he's not a normal citizen.
But you're doing the same thing. You're saying because he's guilty and because you think that he should have known better, you don't care the way that the FBI went about this. You don't care about the standard protocol. You don't care about James Comey bragging about doing this differently than he would have under Obama or under Bush. That is the erosion of norms. That's what I'm talking about, not General Flynn's behavior.
Yeah, look, listen, Jim Comey has eroded norms throughout this whole situation. We're all pretty glad that Jim Comey is in a different place right now and he's doing what he's doing right now. He's writing his books. Congratulations to Jim Comey. I think, what he did was not necessarily the right thing. What he did to Hillary Clinton was absolutely unfair and the right thing and not the right thing to do before the election. So we can agree that Jim Comey has made a lot of mistakes, particularly towards the end of his career.
Well, that we know of. We don't actually know what he did, I guess. We don't know these kind of details at the beginning. I don't think we're fundamentally in disagreement here. We just have to make sure we separate those two things. The fact that General Flynn pled guilty, he didn't tell the truth, and the FBI acting in a shady manner. In my opinion, when they didn't confront him about the transcripts, they betrayed themselves as not caring about Russian collusion. That's not what they were investigating. They were trying to pin down Flynn in a lie because they wanted to use that as a way to get to President Trump. That was not supposed to be the intention of the Mueller investigation. It was supposed to be to investigate if there was any Russian collusion. That's not what they were doing here, and I think they betrayed their hands.
Actually,
that should bother everyone. You can have the last word.
Russian interference.
You can have the last word.
Yeah, I was saying that the initial purpose was to find out if there was Russian interference, and then we obviously found that out, and then things started to unravel, and people like Flynn, started lying and making this worse for everybody. So again, I agree with you that we should have the FBI stick to their protocols. However, I do think General Flynn, like I said, I have no sympathy for General Flynn.
Well, that's a separate issue. Jason, I so appreciate the debate. Thanks for being here.